Hi, good morning, good evening. This is Ben Chai, the Doctor Who of business. Do you know, it's really funny because people have this kind of like almost fear of not looking the way that their brand is. So, as many of you know, when I'm out there, I normally wear a bow tie, but look at me, no bow tie. And I know some people with their fear of needing to go with their brand, it's very difficult for them to be flexible, like the bamboo tree. So this is Ben Chai, the Doctor Who of business. Every Monday, I do a talk on business, and every Tuesday, property, and Wednesday, about celebrities. Today, I will be sharing a few things from actually last week. I was on stage most of the week. You can hear my voice is gone, actually, but actually, it's gone because I was ill. You know, it's really funny because I took a month off, and that was my first week back. And out of all the weeks that I could be ill, of course, I was ill that week. But I made a commitment, so I thought, well, I need to get on those stages. Now, what I want to do is really share a little bit about the last event, because I was sharing a story called the Bamboo Tree Story, and it's actually my own version rather than the many that you see online. So without going into the whole story, I'll put a link to the story, which I've got my own version. But it takes 5 years for a very particular kind of bamboo tree to grow. And you don't see anything growing until actually the 5th year. And I use this story to share with people that if they are serious about business and making money and success in their lives, it really takes 5 years for a variety of reasons to learn things like promotion, sales, branding, marketing, and just really to understand the environment that you're working in. 5 years is an important amount of time, and actually, there's some statistics that say to become an expert at anything, it takes roughly, on average, 10,000 hours. Some people may take 8,000. Some people may take 20,000, but it takes roughly 10,000 hours. Now, if you want to be an expert, that 10,000 is equivalent to 5 years of working every day with a few days off. So that's the 5 years. Now you can cram it down into 3 years, but you will probably be very skewed in one area. So for example, you may have no friends because you just don't go out and see people. You don't really add value to them because you're very focused on the success area that you want to be in. So 5 years is why Nate and I originally set up something called 5 Years to Financial Freedom. And there's still a lot of great information on that website. So please do go there if you're interested in just ensuring that you've got great success. And I was shocked. I was really, really shocked because one of the guys over from Canada, so we had some people over from Canada who joined us at the Global Authors Award, and then Laboche and Mayoran's Brand Your Way to Business Success. And they were sharing with me that the National Association of Speakers said that you can be an expert in any subject if you've just read 6 books. And so they don't mind promoting you if you've read 6 books in a subject and you know those books inside out. And I really was shocked. So coming back to the bamboo tree story in the 5 years, you really need the experience. And I guess this is why some of the stage speakers actually find me a bit of a threat, because I'm listening to them and they're saying, oh, you've got to feel the fear and do it. It's your speed of implementation. But actually, they've just read the books. They've read the books by Susan Jeffries and so on, but they've never experienced it themselves. And that's why, the feel the fear and do it anyway. I can create so much fear in them because they've never actually gone through having that fear and fighting through, those kinds of situations. When the authors of these books wrote them, they'd actually gone through them. Speed of Implementation is another book, and actually it only applies to certain situations and contexts. So I was surprised that people are labeled apparently in the States and Canada as experts purely because they've read books on the subject without actually having gone through it. And I would really, really ask you and beg you guys to learn your craft, learn your business, go through that 5 years. And yes, you won't be making money straight away. And sometimes you'll be in a job while you're learning your craft, or using your job to learn the craft. So for example, a lot of actors who are now film directors learned the craft of film directing by being an actor, by being directed, and then watching the directors direct. And then they created their own, if you like, small film before they became a full film directors. But that was their journey to becoming film directors. They didn't just say, oh, I've read 5 books on it and 6, but now I'm an expert and I'm going to teach everybody about being film directors. I remember I was on stage with Al Pacino, and nobody had heard about the story I was sharing with him, which was called the it was the Chinese, I think it was Chinese coffee or Chinese tea. And so I was sharing about with him about this story, and he literally, in the video you'll see, he'll give me a hug, because it was a labor of love for him, and that was one of his first goes, I think, at directing a film. And so that was his, if you like, his journey into that kind of area. So please, guys, if you want to have the big monies, if you want to have the big success, learn your craft. Go through, get hurt, go through people betraying you, go through people laughing at you for thinking that you can be big in an industry, but learn that craft. Really learn it. So that's one thing. Now, the next other things that I want to share about is the people I was working with. They have a lot of great friends, like long-term friends. And I was thinking about this. Like disloyal people, I've noticed they don't tend to have many long-term friends. So if you have a look at, for example, my LinkedIn, you'll see recommendations for me from like people from my university days, and people who were teaching with me like 20 years ago. I was very blessed recently because a guy called Arnold Villano, whose courses I used to train, and he was someone I worked with at Learning Tree since probably 1994, 95, 96, somewhere around there. But he wrote a very nice recommendation for me on my LinkedIn. And it just, again, shows the long length of time that we'd spent together. And you know, the kind of camaraderie which comes with people who have been together for a long time. And I was reading some of the aggressive remarks from one of the organizations about other people, and looking at those actual people themselves who are making the remarks. They don't actually have many friends, at least long-term friends. So they're calling other people disloyal, but they themselves, I wonder, I just wonder about them. I'm not here to say anything about them, but I just wonder about people who talk about disloyalty, but they don't have many long-term good friends themselves. So think about it, yes? Do think about that. And the final thing, the final aspect I'd like to share really is about this abundant mindset. Now, when I was in the dance world in a big way, in the early days, the promoters used to argue with each other. So you have this salsa promoter and that salsa promoter, and they would argue that XYZ is stealing my customers, the people who are coming to my events. And also, I used to go to church for a long time. And again, we'd see people going from the Baptist church to the Catholic church to the born again church. And people would say, oh, they're stealing my people. But that's a really scarcity mindset. And I really loved working with Mayor and Leboshi because they have an abundant mindset. You know, if you go to their event, that's fantastic. If you're in their club, that's fantastic. But if you want to go somewhere else, that's fine too. We know that not everybody is going to appeal to everyone. And it's just a simple matter of reality, I guess. And so when people start saying, oh, you're stealing my people or you're taking my people away, when you may have done nothing at all, but it exposes their mindset that they have a scarcity mindset and that they either can't add enough value to people. So that's why people leave. That's why loyal people might leave, because they're not adding value, because they're being attacked. Or really, some of the people that they're attracting, that's their mindset. They like to have different people, different clubs that they go to, and that's fine. And I'm seeing the same thing with not just, so the dance world, they seem to have sorted themselves out. The promoters don't seem to clash anymore a decade on. But I'm noticing in this new kind of world, which it is a new world for me, this kind of stage speaker and people selling from stage. Because remember, I was a speaker in the corporate and the spiritual world. And this kind of people thinking that all their members are being stolen by other people, I think is terrible. And it shows these speakers who are out there who are positive, so-called positive and so-called abundant mindset, they don't have the abundant mindset because they are afraid people are being stolen from them. You know, and then labeling people as disloyal and attacking other people's businesses for leaving them. It really is sad and terrible to see. So really what I want to share, just to recap, really, is first of all, your 5 years to success, your 5 years to financial freedom, learn your craft. It takes roughly 4 to 5 years of solid, just going over, and you'll go through ups and downs. It's just reality. People who've suddenly made tons of money have also lost it. Okay, it's again because they didn't learn their 5 years, their craft. The second thing is you can recognize loyal people and reliable people by the length, if you like, of some of their friends. That's one way to check them. So just see how the depth of their friends are. And if you don't have any long-term friends, then do think about why that is. It may not be because you're disloyal, but just think about why it is. What is the depth of your connection with people? And finally, remember, if you have an abundant mindset, you always have hundreds of opportunities every day. You don't need to think, oh, if I go there, I'm going to miss out on an opportunity. That's not an abundant mindset. That's a scarcity mindset, because we have opportunities coming into our lives every single day. And if your eyes are open, you'll see it. The other thing is that you can only take advantage of so many opportunities at a time. So filter the best ones for you and stick with it. Be focused on it. All right, guys, this is Ben Chai, the Doctor Who of business. So as some of you can tell, I'm recovering from an illness. My voice isn't great, but as I'm committed to broadcast every Monday, this is my commitment to you. Anyway, look at this shirt. Look, nothing's impossible. Have a look at it again. Nothing's impossible. There's something wrong with it. It's got a misspelling in it, and that's why it's funny. If you enjoyed this broadcast, please do share it with your friends. This is Ben Chai, the Doctor Who of business, saying goodbye and thank you for tuning in.